What's up everyone, registered dietitian Kara Corey, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is just going to be a little bit rambly. Shocking, I know. I had nothing planned in particular and I was trying to think what I could do a video on, and there's something that's been weighing on me for probably about a solid month that I just wanted to have a discussion about. So this video is purely discussion based. I really want you guys to respond in the comments, and I hope to learn from you as well. But I really want to talk about something that's been on my mind in terms of the field of, not only the field of dietetics and dietitians, because there's so many other health coaches out there and people that assist folks in weight loss, in their weight loss journey. So this is really applicable to more than dietitians, but it's something I've seen in dietitians specifically this past year. And I just want to know how others are feeling about this topic. So before we dive right into my rambles, be sure that you guys are subscribed to the channel. I know people are, like, the algorithms on YouTube can be rough sometimes, so hit that little post notification bell and that's gonna alert you guys hopefully each and every time I upload, so that you guys can hang out with me and enjoy these videos together. What I want to discuss is, I feel like I've noticed, even with dietitians, people being very gung-ho, very specific about how they label themselves as practitioners and how they're labeling their approach. And I have some issues with that. And this, I don't know, this may or may not be a popular opinion about how I go about things. So I really do, I'm not here to offend anyone or say one thing is right or wrong, because I just don't think there is one right or wrong way to do things, but I want to know your thoughts and ideas on this. I've just noticed within the past month in particular, because there was the annual, the FNCE, which is the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics annual conference, which I did not attend, and I am hoping to glean some information from that, because they usually do still offer an option to get some of the topics that were discussed. But I did see some information come through from that with some of the folks that were there, that there's almost a divide in the field of dietetics with the whole kind of haze approach, which I haven't really spoken about much on this channel. And if you want me to discuss that more in an upcoming video, please let me know. I can. The haze approach is health at every size. The acronym is HAES, the haze approach. So this is kind of a newer approach, I guess, or a newer term, I should say, because what we once called it was mostly like intuitive eating or mindful eating, and now there's like this kind of movement or approach. And I've noticed a lot of dietitians that actually term themselves, like on their social media accounts, it's like part of their business to expand them, that they're like the anti-diet dietitians. And I just, as a dietitian, I have some like mixed feelings about it. And I guess that's just been weighing on me in a weird way, because I'm not against haze, but I'm not against dieting. And I think that's where I feel conflicted. But I even heard this from some of the information at FNCE that, you know, everyone defines diet differently, and how we use it as practitioners, or even us as consumers of it, how we view that word, how we utilize it in our day-to-day life. Diet can be defined very differently depending on the context that we're talking about it. So I guess it's a little bit different for everyone. But where I struggle is just the need to define yourself. And I'm seeing some very strong, opinionated dietitians out there with the anti-diet approach. And for me, I feel uncomfortable with it, because I do feel like it gives some mixed messages about what we are doing as practitioners. Again, I'm not against the haze approach, though. I'm not against the anti-diet movement, but I also think when it comes down to it, for me, when I work with people, this is what's always most important to me. This is what, you know, I went to school a long time ago now, and yes, stuff has changed, but part of being a dietitian is really honing in and fine-tuning your own approach with how you work with people, right? So every dietitian is going to be different. We should be different. We should also work with people very differently. There isn't one set approach that works with people. And just because you're a haze dietitian doesn't mean you're doing a cookie cutter approach. but I just think I don't see a need to label myself as a set type of dietitian of how I work with people. I think haze has great principles behind it. And then I also think that there are certain needs, depending on the person, when they do need to be on a diet. I mean, number one, I think about people with chronic kidney issues. I mean, wow, and I'm sure someone of haze would agree with that approach, that you have to be on a set diet. It's a very medically critical diet that you have to be on for your own health if your kidneys are not functioning properly. There's different times that a person's going to need to be on a diet. And the other thing I think about too, like not even medically speaking, but in terms of people that want to lose weight, what works for one person doesn't work for the other. And I know we're in a world where we still haven't figured it out, right? We're still a world that is encompassed with people who majority are overweight and obese. And part of the argument to that is, well, regardless, there is no firm data that being overweight or obese limits your mortality, right? So what's the big deal? If we're happy at the size we're at, we can live just as long. What's the big deal? In my experience, I have worked with so many different individuals. I've worked with mostly everyone, to be honest. I worked with little kids. I've worked with geriatrics for a long time. I worked with college level students for a period of time. I worked with those who are medically frail. I've worked with those who are healthy and just trying to lose weight. I've worked with those who have a set purpose because they're trying to get on stage. All of those individuals have different wants and needs. There's different steps that I would take as a practitioner to work with them based on where they're at, based on what their life has looked like, based on what their medical history has looked like, based on what successful attempts they've had, what's been unsuccessful for them, what supports they have in their life. There's just so many different things that go into the equation of working with someone. And I'll be honest, I'm not a huge proponent of fad diets. I think you guys know this about me. I still present information on popular fad diets, but I don't sit there and prescribe diets. Like, I don't consider myself someone that prescribes diets to people, yet I'm not anti-diet. Like, I feel confused in the world we're in right now because I don't know how to label myself. But then I'm annoyed because I'm like, well, why do I have to label myself? Like, why do I need to fit into a label? Yeah, I see a lot of other practitioners doing this, and it makes me feel like, well, do they look at me and think I'm doing something inappropriately or unethical according to our code of ethics under the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics? I don't know. It's just like a weird time, and I'm just curious if other people are seeing this and feeling it at all, or if it's just me being a dietitian and feeling like sometimes the way I practice dietetics is so different than the average person. Like, I think of the average dietitian working in a hospital, working with folks, but then I'm so immersed in the social media world, which is really such a small piece of the dietetics community, but it's so much in my face because I'm so involved in it. You know, it's a passion of mine. Like, I love doing this. I love helping people out for free, you know? So when I see it on social media, it feels uncomfortable to me because I don't know where I fit in. All of a sudden I'm like, am I doing something wrong? And I start questioning myself and how I'm going about working with my own clients. Because at the end of the day, to me, it's not about what sells plans. It's not about what sells coaching. It's not about any of that. It's about how to best help people really implement a change. How do I help them? And when I say a change, it's not necessarily helping them to lose weight. I'll be honest with you. It's not always about losing weight. It's not always about the number on the scale. And that can be hard for people sometimes too. A lot of times it's helping people feel better about themselves. It's helping to empower people. It's helping them to be more health focused versus weight focused. And I don't know that that fits into any of these labels that I see on social media. And I don't know if that's good or bad or if it's just nothing. But I do see this change, and I see dietetics kind of splitting, which is unfortunate. but maybe I'm far removed from it. So if other dietitians are watching this video, I'd love to know your thoughts, especially if you did go to Fancy. But I feel like how, as a group of professionals, like if we are becoming split with how we help people, I feel like that's only going to further worsen the issues that we have in this world. I just feel like there's so many mixed messages already in the world. Like, right? There's like so many mixed messages with food. What's good? What's bad? Even though we shouldn't label food as good or bad. The marketing that's out there. And now you can't even, like, now you don't know what kind of dietitian to go to. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, do you go to an anti-diet dietitian, or do you go to a normal dietitian, or is it all the same? I don't know. It makes my head hurt, and I'm a little bit frustrated with it. And maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe I'm missing something in all this. But I've just seen it, and it bothers me, and I wanted to talk about it, and I really want to know your thoughts on it. And on the other side of things, if you guys are watching my channel because you're seeking out nutrition advice and you're seeking out information on the truth, what to do to feel healthier and to make changes, I want to know your thoughts as a consumer. Is that confusing to you? Or am I being a touch dramatic about all of this? Because that's ultimately part of my concern is, are we now just confusing people even more? Then people are already confused, because not a week passes that I think someone doesn't ask me what's the difference between a nutritionist and a dietitian. And so we just have all these layers of confusion that are already in the world. And as a dietitian, I feel like we already struggle to prove our value and prove our worth and prove the level of education that we have, why we have it, and what separates us from your typical health coach. And I'm not out here to say that health coaches aren't appropriate and that they're not useful, but we are different. We are the nutrition experts. So I don't know, it's hard to me when it seems like it's getting more and more confusing what our role is and how we help people. So I don't know if that makes sense, but it's definitely been weighing on me, and I would really like to know your thoughts and opinions on it and start a little discussion below. Yeah, I'm just going to continue to keep doing what I believe in, what makes me feel good, and what I think helps people the most. It's for me with being a dietitian, it's not about me. It's not about what I think. It's not about what I do day to day, although I love giving my own tips and tricks if it's going to help someone. But it's truly about that person and what is best for them at that time, even if it is a fad diet. I personally hate fad diets, but I will work with someone on a fad diet if that's where they're currently at, okay? If they're currently practicing keto and that's what they're doing, and I will work with that. I will work with someone with where they're at and figure out where we need to go to make it a sustainable, healthy approach. That's my approach at the end of the day. And how we get there is going to be different for each and every person, whether it's a diet, whether it's not a diet, whether it's weighing in on the scale or not weighing in on the scale, whether it's tracking your food or not tracking your food. There's no right or wrong. Why does there have to be? Why does it feel right now like there has to be one correct way of doing it? There's so many different approaches. There is. And I know we continue to research and find out what's going to help improve the ability to maintain weight loss, because we know that less than 5% of folks that actually lose weight maintain it for long term. My sister being one of those people, I just always have to shout her out because she is the real friggin' hero in all this. She took a sustainable approach and lost weight and has maintained it for over 10 years. So she is part of that minority where it can happen. You can do it without surgery. It's possible to do it. She changed her life and she made maintainable changes that she's sustained. I digress, but I always have to give a little shout out for her because she really is amazing. So, yeah, it can be done, you guys, and it can be done in a number of different ways. It's not the same for each and every person. It's not the same for me as it is for my husband, and we live in the same household. It's not the same for me and my clients because we're two different people with two different histories, two different bodies. Your body is a representation of everything that occurred when you were in the womb with your mother and what she was consuming. Our genetic makeup is so extremely different person to person. I don't know that we're ever going to find that this is the one way to do it. This is the one way to lose weight forever and to be happy and live the longest life possible. I don't think there's ever going to be just one answer. There isn't. And if there becomes one, I'll probably be out of a job, you know? But it's about helping people. It's about really looking into their lifestyle, looking at that timeline from the second they were born to where they stand in front of you today, and what has shaped them and what things have helped them or hindered them. And there's so much that goes into that equation, and that's what I am here to do. That's what a dietitian looks at. We're like a little detective kind of peeling away at all those layers of your life and helping to kind of unravel things and figure out the best approach for you moving forward. And I don't think there needs to be a label for that. And maybe I'm alone. Maybe I'm not alone. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And as you guys know, I can ramble all day. So I'm going to stop right there. But I'd like to know your thoughts. Let me know if I'm alone. Just needed to like kind of put this out in the world because it's been bothering me. I don't know why. It's just hasn't been feeling good keeping it in. So I wanted to let that out, have a little discussion about it. And yeah, hopefully this video somehow get some good discussion started, and we can further the discussion. If you guys have specific things you want to dive into a little bit more, I'd be glad to do that. But in general, that's my approach. That's my thoughts on being a dietitian, how I go about practicing. So hope somehow that was helpful. It was for me. I feel a little bit better. I got that off my chest. So if you guys like this video, give that thumbs up button a little hit, and I will see you in the next video.